6 minutes past the hour now in Egypt. Anti-government protests are much smaller today. You can see there than they have been the last couple of days. These are live pictures out of Tahrir Square in Cairo. Demonstrators are upset over President Mohamed Morsi's expansion of his own powers. The country's Supreme Judicial Council is calling Morsi's move an unprecedented attack on the independence of the judicial branch. We've been focusing this morning on the ceasefire in the Middle East and the prospects of long-term peace between Israel and Hamas. Joining me, as they do here every week, CNN contributor Maria Cardona and Amy Holmes, anchor for Real News on The Blaze. Good morning to both of you.
Good morning,
Maria,
Randy.
On the world's political stage, Maria, who was the big winner, do you think, here?
Well, I think because there was a ceasefire, the winners for now are the Israelis and the Palestinians who actually were suffering through this. Politically, I think that President Obama is a winner here, Netanyahu's a winner here, Hillary Clinton is a winner here, and I think Hamas is a winner here because they now have shown that they are legitimate, that they have to be taken seriously politically in order to get any real permanent solution done, which at the end of the day, I think is what everybody is really looking for.
Amy, what do you think?
Well, up until 24 hours ago, I would have said President Mohamed Morsi. Clearly, he felt that his position was greatly strengthened by brokering this peace deal between Israel and the Hamas in Gaza. But I think he's overplayed his hand, and you just showed that video of the protest there in Cairo. We'll have to see where this goes. You know, the great fear is that the Muslim Brotherhood, like other fascist organizations, will be one man, one vote, one time. And we've seen the Muslim Brotherhood in Egypt move very swiftly to consolidate their power.
And Maria, as we know, the U.S. stood squarely behind Israel throughout this conflict. Does that quiet any critics who thought President Obama was soft on Israeli security, do you think?
I think it absolutely should, Randy. I mean, what we saw even before the election here in the United States is that Netanyahu has said time and again, even in the face of critics, that there has been no stronger ally to Israel than the United States. The criticism kept coming, though. I think after this incident, I really do think that the critics will be quieted. There's a lot of talk about how successful the Iron Dome program was. It deflected over 80% of the rockets that were fired into Israel. President Obama has committed more funding to Iron Dome, and I think that it really does cement the fact that this president and this administration has been a tremendous friend and ally to Israel, and that is not going to change.
And looking to the future, Amy, I mean, with Egypt's Mohamed Morsi stepping in to broker the peace, does it show, do you think, that the region no longer needs the U.S. to take the lead role? I mean, certainly Secretary of State Hillary Clinton was there, but maybe not a lead role anymore in this type of negotiation.
No, and in fact, the United States was very crucial to President Morsi negotiating that peace deal because he gets a lot of money in aid, $3 billion a year from the United States, and he has a very fragile economy. But I'd like to go back to President Obama, and he is getting praise from critics even on the right who saw that in his first administration, he himself said that in order to be able to influence Israel, that the United States needed to create daylight with Israel. Well, now it appears that he has reversed that position, and his position now is that that the United States needs to back Israel, and as he said over and over and over, Israel has a right to defend itself.
So Israel has elections coming up in January. Maria, how do you think this is all going to play out in that election?
I think that this incident, again, like I said in my first answer to you, Randy, Netanyahu comes out looking very, very strong, and in fact, his opponent, who was, as I understand, going to announce a run against Netanyahu before all of this started, has now backed down, and now it might be too late for him to announce anything, for anyone to announce running against Netanyahu. And he certainly has been strengthened. He had showed that he had the ability to go up against Hamas, to defend Israel against anything, without, frankly, starting a ground war or any sort of ground invasion. And so I think that in order to, or in his ability to really walk that balance, walk that tightrope, he has been strengthened. Now, the ceasefire right now is very fragile, so we'll see. As we know in politics, anything can happen, and so we'll see. But for right now, if things stand the way they are, I think Netanyahu is very strong for his reelection.
All right, Maria Cardona, Amy Holmes, you're going to be back with me later this hour. We're going to talk about the fiscal cliff and how one leading Republican may be ready, actually, to break ranks with his party to get a deal done. So we'll see them just a little bit later. Small businesses struggling to recover after Superstorm Sandy. We'll introduce you to one business owner who is trying her best to stay afloat.
Every year, the Salvation Army serves nearly 30 million people in need. That's one person every second. So by the time you've finished watching this, 30 more lives will have been changed for good. All thanks to your donations.
Thank you.
Give today